Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of, actually, no, this is for the month of March 2022. We're going to jump right in here, Leo, and we are just going to see, sorry, this is upside down, and there are no reversals in this deck anyway, but we're just going to see what comes up for you at this time. You start off with the World card. Very interesting. A lot of people have had the World card this week, and this is this month. I keep wanting to say this week, so there could be something important happening for you in the week of, I don't know what this week is, the week of the 28th of February. If you're watching this during that week, it could be an important week for you, is what I would say, because I keep wanting to say this week, not this month. So, this upcoming week, if you're watching it in the week of the 28th, could be very significant for you. But again, this is a monthly reading. But let's see here. A lot of people have had the World card, which is interesting. You start off with this Thinker card, and the Thinker card is about thinking, but it's about thinking about getting to the next level. You can see that she's kind of sitting on this pedestal level thing, and there's another level over here. So it's kind of like a card of getting to the next level, or thinking about taking things in your life to the next level, trying to upgrade, hoping to upgrade your life, any of those things. All those things are popping into my head here, Leo. I feel a sense of frustration is what I would say. Not in a bad way. It's like, one of my favorite, motivational speeches of all time is by someone who I never remember who it is. But, if you just search "pissed off for greatness" on YouTube, you'll find it. It's by a football player. Someone will know who I'm talking about. But it's more of that, like, pissed off for greatness feeling is how I feel in your reading. Like, a little frustrating. But is it a bad thing if it motivates you? I would say no. I don't think that it's a bad thing if you're feeling motivated to kind of take it to the next level in any area of your life, business, work, love, whatever. But it's just like, maybe you're just not exactly sure how you're going to get there. You have the World, the Page of Swords, and the Five of Pentacles here. The World, again, has been coming up for a lot of people this week. I feel people are kind of feeling more motivated, wanting to accomplish things, wanting to accomplish goals. And, I feel that a lot of people, it's like time could be hitting us on a very deep level. That's how it's shown up for other signs as well. Is that like timing or time or how much time we have? I feel just time could be hitting us, maybe because we've been on lockdown for 2 years or whatever. It just seems to me like this is one of those months where people are really going to be feeling like the time crunch. Again, I wouldn't panic. I don't think this is something that you should worry about. I think it's something that you could maybe take the energy and use it to motivate you. And that's exactly what I'd be doing with the World card. The Page of Swords is kind of like, I feel like you need to almost throw away the past. And I'm not talking about throwing away past experiences or whatever. I'm just saying, like, I get this feeling that the best way I could describe it is that things are going to be working out differently for you in the future. It's like you might have a past experience where you tried a business and it didn't work out. I feel like in the future, it's like, keep the knowledge and everything like that, but maybe it's your outcome that you need to throw away or something like that is what's popping into my head here. Again, you're not forgetting anything. You're not forgetting like you're the wisdom or any of that stuff. But I feel like what you need to forget about is kind of like the past outcome. I just feel like your outcomes are changing with the Page of Swords. Even the Five of Pentacles says things can work out better for you this time. It's a card of calling attention to your weaknesses. It says, do not. This guy has a bell around his neck, and he represents someone calling attention to his weakness. But you have these Five Pentacles in the window. It's kind of like everything you need is here on the card. Everything you need exists. You just need to kind of go inside this church and get it. But I really feel this is saying that you're like maybe working towards something that you've worked for in the past, and you're trying again here in this reading. And I feel like it's saying, just because something didn't work out in the past doesn't mean that it won't work out in the future. That's kind of what I'm getting here in this first row. Next, you have this Dignified card. It just says Strength. So, the Strength card would be your card, even though this does not represent the Strength card, but it is popping into my head as a Strength card. So I feel like you're coming up in a position of strength at this time. I really do feel like the first week of March, like I said, the week of the 28th of February, which is really the first week of March, it's going to be a really good week for you. I feel like it's one of those like kickoff weeks where you're going to want to take advantage of the energy that you have in the beginning of the month, because I feel like it's going to push you through the rest of the month as well. You have the Page of Cups, the King of Swords, and the Six of Swords here. Again, the King of Swords says maintain your wisdom. King of Swords is a card of wisdom and things that you have learned. So again, when I said throwing away the past, I'm not saying you're throwing away the wisdom or the things that you've learned. I feel like you're just assuming outcomes is the thing that you're releasing here. And I do feel it's important for you to release it. Again, I feel like a lot of us are moving on to a new world. Right now, it's a little bit choppy. I always say this, woman and her child, they're still in choppy waters on the Six of Swords. They are still experiencing the problems, the challenges of the world. They're still in choppy waters, but they are moving to the other side. There are improvements and things are getting better for them. And this guy in the back of the boat here, he represents a guide. So he represents someone who goes back and forth between the choppy waters. So I do feel for a lot of you that this is saying, to make sure to kind of let go of the things from the past. They are leaving behind everything from the past. This card represents baggage, and it represents baggage because, again, they're not making a tiny little sacrifice. They're letting go of their entire life, and they're moving to the other side for hopes of a better future. And I feel that's what you're kind of dreaming of here with the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups, he is dreaming of that fish that's in that cup there. It might exist, it might not exist. He needs to, grab onto the fish, and he needs to make it happen. So he's kind of a card of making your wildest dreams come true, or your dreams happen here. I kind of feel uncomfortable with the Page of Cups in your reading. I feel this frustration is the best way I could describe the energy to you, Leo. So again, some of you might be feeling frustrated at this time, or you might be trying to motivate yourself. But I kind of feel those those feelings of wanting to be motivated, wanting to get work done, but not getting work done. It's kind of like I don't know how to describe that. I just did. That's the best way I could describe the feeling. It's like you want to do things, you want to move forward, you want to see progress, but but maybe you're not feeling as motivated as you would like to, or whatever. We're going to clarify this reading, and again, we're going to see how can you get motivated and all this other stuff. You have this Lynx card, and it says secrets on it. I do feel like this is part of the thing that might be holding you back, is not knowing exact outcomes. To me, this is a major problem with Neptune and Pisces. We have Neptune and Pisces until 2025. That does not mean that you will be feeling these feelings until 2025, because, astrology is not a prison sentence, as I always say. We have the astrology so we can learn how to work with it. If we learn how to work with it and deal with it, then it's not a problem any longer, right? We learn the lesson. So with Neptune and Pisces, it kind of removes the ability to maybe see that something is going to work. Like if you have a business idea, maybe in the past, before Neptune and Pisces, you would think about it and it would feel right. You could be like, that feels like it's going to work. That feels like it's going to be successful. Or maybe you would see someone else do it. Maybe there would be some inspiration, right? You could see another person doing something. It's like, I can kind of model myself after this person. It's going to be successful. Same thing in love and health and all those other things. Right now, either that doesn't exist, right? Or you do see someone who you can model and you try it and it just doesn't work with Neptune and Pisces. Why? Well, one thing that I think is happening is that I would say Neptune and Pisces, but also a little bit of Uranus and Taurus. There's a major focus on freedom with Uranus and Taurus, and part of being free is being truly independent. So I feel that Uranus and Taurus, Neptune and Pisces, the reason things that work for other people might not work for us, or we might not have an example to follow, is because the universe is trying to get us to follow our own example. The universe is trying to say, no, there might be other people who do things that are successful, but what's going to work for you? It might not be what works for everybody else. And we see that here, actually. You have the Magician, the King of Wands, and the Chariot. The Magician, he kind of does things his own way, He has mastery over all the suits here, right? But he's holding this wand, if I can get my finger up there, and he is using his words to manifest the things that he desires to manifest in his life. So it's kind of like he does his own thing. He does things his own way. He's also not afraid to reinvent himself. He has this snake wrapped around his waist here, and he's not afraid to change. He's not afraid to be different. He's not afraid to do things in a different way. And so he is willing to reinvent himself. He's willing to change in a lot of ways. We see this today where people are kind of holding people accountable for things that they did years ago. And this is not a political statement, as always, Leo, but what I would say is there are things that are happening where people are saying 10 years ago you said that the sky was green and now you're saying the sky is blue. It's okay, people are allowed to change. Why do you think we're seeing this, on a global scale? It's because of Neptune and Pisces, right? Neptune and Pisces says people are allowed to change. People are allowed to be different. And, again, I feel like this is giving you permission to change. It's like maybe years ago you wanted to be a doctor and now you don't, right? I think the challenge here, and especially with the astrology, is it's like if you have an identity, like a certain identity, that you have developed, like maybe you've been a doctor for 20 years, maybe you've been a tarot reader on YouTube for 7 years, right? And if you want to change, it's like people get uncomfortable allowing you to change your identity because it's like they became comfortable with you being a certain way, right? I feel like this is giving you permission to change. I mean, literally, the Chariot is about leaving something behind. He has this city behind him. He doesn't know exactly where he's going. It's a mystery, but he's allowing these two sphinxes to guide him into the future. Both those sphinxes are holding on to their tail, and they, kind of represents the fact that they have a really good handle on their past. They understand, again, they're bringing the knowledge forward, but they're allowing the outcome to change, which is what I keep getting for you in this reading. Pretty interesting message, actually. But he's leaving that city behind. So, again, he's probably reinventing himself, which... I definitely feel like you are doing here, Leo. So we're going to clarify this and just see. Here you go. With the World and the Page of Cups, you have the Chariot again. So definitely a victory coming in for you because of this change, but you are definitely making a change. Again, the world can be uncomfortable. The world is like a birth. It's like, if you're, but I always say that the world is like being stuck in the squeeze sometimes. It's like, a baby, when it's popping out into the world, what do babies do? For the most part, they cry. And, it's kind of like, on one hand, they were safe and comfortable in a perfect environment, and now they're entering into this cruel, mean world. But, we get to do a lot of exciting things in this world. We get to create our own reality. We get to do things that we want to do. We get to create things and experience things, have relationships, all sorts of stuff, right? So I kind of get that for you where, and I've had this, like I said, everybody's had the world. It seems like everybody could be going through a situation like this where it's kind of like, yeah, it's like you're maturing. You're being born into something, right? Where there are these scary things, but there's also a lot of good stuff. With the Page of Swords and the King of Swords, you have the Knight of Pentacles. For some of you, I do feel like this could be love coming in for you. All of a sudden, love has been showing up in readings. Again, I just do whatever comes up readings. I always say I don't do love readings, but that's not true because sometimes I talk about it if it shows up. And, again, I do feel like there could be an earth sign coming in for you here. I feel like if you want love, it needs a little bit more elbow grease with the Knight of Pentacles. With the Five of Pentacles and the Six of Swords, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is about putting the work in. Eight of Pentacles is about success and seeing success. I feel like there's a lot of abundance coming in for you. With the Page of Swords and the Magician, you have the King of Pentacles. Definitely could be an earth sign coming in for you, for those of you that want love. For others... what I would say is that the King of Pentacles is building a solid foundation. Again, if you're reinventing yourself, if you're becoming something new, again, it's like you're taking your experiences forward, which is great, which we should be doing. We should be bringing our wisdom forward, but we shouldn't be assuming outcomes. Like, it's like, like I always say, it's like people, you always use the example of cheating. I always get tons of comments, that every Leo, every single sign, everybody always leaves me the same exact comments. That's what cracks me up about astrology. People are always like, oh, every Pisces cheat, every Cancer cheats, every Leo, like every single sign. I'm like, well, clearly not everyone cheats. There are plenty of relationships where the people are perfectly loyal. So again, we shouldn't be assuming outcomes. We should be looking for evidence. With the King of Swords and the King of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. Quick success coming in for you if you put in the work. You're thinking about something. Like I said, I feel that frustration, thinking about making a change, reinventing myself. These are the things that are popping into my head. And it's like if you do the work, you're going to be successful very quickly. So don't be afraid to change. With the Six of Swords and the Chariot, you have the Emperor. Yeah, a lot of people are dealing with this right now. Rules, regulations, control, right? It's not going to get easier. It's not going to get better, is what I would say here. The whole control thing. I don't think that's a popular thing to say. I don't think it's, I think that we're probably going to experience maybe more restrictions in the future. But, do we have to follow those rules is what I would say. I don't know. That's for you to decide, Leo. I'm not going to tell anyone what to do, right? But I feel that for the most part, there is a breakdown in control structures, right? We see this pretty much everywhere. And I think it's just going to accelerate, but there are still things we have to work around. The Chariot isn't about breaking the law. It's not about breaking the rules. It's about finding a way around the rules. He still has to go down this road, right? These two sphinxes are controlling his chariot. They are guiding him. So he still has to obey the rules of the universe. In your personal life, you're still going to be dealing with maybe rules, regulations, emperor energy, where you have to follow certain laws, rules, and regulations. But the chariot driver, he's willing to find ways around it. He looks for, situations where he can thrive. He looks for situations where he can be successful. And that might include moving. That might include traveling. That might include the need to change jobs. If you have a job that's very controlling, maybe you need to find another one that isn't. Top row outcome, temperance. Again, you have the ability to mold your life. This is a extremely powerful reading. Temperance is about turning water into wine. But I'm seeing this reading as more like you being able to design your life. And I see a lot. I'm kind of cheating just based off the astrology. I feel like pretty much everybody and their mother and their grandmother and their great-grandmother is going to be doing this, where it's like, if something doesn't fit your rule, your own inner rules, like what you want, then maybe you're going to make a change. Maybe there's a job that's too controlling. Maybe you live in a state or a country that is too controlling. And you're like, there are other places I can go that are free, right? I feel like a lot of people are realizing this. Middle row, you have the Ten of Pentacles, a lot of success coming in for you. Yeah, your dream life. I feel like it is time for you to figure this out. You're not the only sign that has had this, Leo. I feel like it is definitely time for you to figure out what your dream life is, or what you're willing to tolerate. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want in your life, but it could also be your values. And again, Aquarius, your opposite sign, also had a reading about values and like what's important to you. There might be certain things that are important to you in your life that would lead to a lot more happiness and abundance if you maybe moved, like I said, or if you made some sort of change. Bottom row, you have the Seven of Wands. I feel like it's time to, like I said, I feel like it would be a good time for you to figure out your values here, Leo, what you value. Seven of Wands card conviction, what you're willing to tolerate, what you're not willing to tolerate as well. But I feel like you're changing, making some significant changes, and these are going to lead to, a lot of success. Definitely a victory with that Chariot card, but this is a very powerful reading. So thank you for being here, Leo. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.